Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. So it is the last week of August. It's early on a Saturday morning. It was about 60 degrees out here about half an hour ago, so it's warming up fast though, but man, it is nice out. So this time of the year, we are preparing our hives for winter. And I have my honey supers on here now. I put them back on here after harvest and they're all cleaned out. The bees aren't putting anything in them right now. They're just protecting that comb. So one thing I did last week, I went around and checked every hive, grabbed them and checked the weight to see which ones may be in trouble and not. And I found a few, and I also found a couple hives that had absconded. So the hive 14 that was next to the hive 13 we'd been working on all summer. Hive 14 was slow to get going as well, if you remember. And I checked it, and it had absconded, and it had the wax moth thing going on in there. So I cleaned that all up and got that foundation out of there, and got the bare frames up there, and I'll recondition those this winter and get them ready for next spring. But anyway, 14 was gone, and see, 24 was superseding a while back, and I checked it, and it didn't. The queen, I guess, didn't make it out of there and get back mated. So, but I did see her, and it was the same condition, not as bad with the wax moths. There's a few hive beetles started in there, but I got it pretty much in time. So I did start feeding some hives, and show you how I'm feeding them. So I'll put a deep super on top, or a deep box on the very top, a third box, and I'll put this in there, and I'll drill little holes in it. So this is 2.5 quarts. And I put 50-50 sugar water in it. I went to Lowe's and I intended to get some 2-gallon buckets with the nice sturdy lids, and they had the buckets but no lids. So I didn't get those. I got these instead. I got 8 of these, and I've got I think 3 of these on some hives right now, and I've got one the frame feeders in there on hive number 18 there. And I'm also feeding with a tub the hive 17 next to it. Hive 17 and 18 I used for resource hives this year, so they're struggling naturally because I kept pulling brood frames out of there. But hive 18 had a green queen in there from prior years, so this will probably be her last year in her prime. But anyway, so what I'm going to do today is I've marked 2 hives in particular I want to get in and consider reducing. So that's hive number 11 and hive number 21 over there. So they're pretty weak, they're lightweight, and they might just need to be a single deep. So we're going to get in those in this video and show you how I look at them and determine if we're going to reduce them or not. So let's get started. Okay, here we are at hive 11, and I put the brick on here to remind me which one to come back to. This time of year I don't keep real good notes on every hive meticulously, so I'll just come down here and work on a bunch of hives and do something quick, you know, on all of them. So, and this is a method you use to say, hey, this hive needs some attention. You put a brick out there. So hopefully I'll remember when I get up to my office and get my book out, I'll record what I do here. So we're down a few hives. We've lost number 4, let's see, 13 and 14, and I think 24 over there from our 30 hives. 30 is our goal. We want to try and stay at going into winter, and we're going to be a little short this year. That's okay. No queen there. So the majority of our bees are right here, and I'm thinking that's probably where they're at, and there's not any in the bottom. So it looks like there's some frames in here from a cutout that I did earlier in the year, and they're not touching them. I think this is from the house in Norman. Yeah, there was some good brood frame there. So I see a few bees down there. I'm going to pull this top off right now and check out the bottom real quick, and then we'll determine if we're going to keep the bottom or not. That way they're not disturbed up here as much before we go digging around in the bottom. Well, there's a few bees down there. So we got a concentration of bees right here. So we'll check it out and see what's going on here. There's a few right in here. And there's like not hardly any honey in here. I don't see a whole lot of hive beetles. I did get a couple there with my thumb. Wow. Little bit of honey right there. They're not totally starved out yet. Man, this cool morning in those heavy propolis frames, they're stuck pretty good. A little bit of honey right here. Nothing there. So whatever we do, we're going to feed this hive. I've got one frame feeder left. The bottom looks pretty clean down there. So here's there's a little bit of nectar in there, so they're getting some from the field. And I'm not open feeding any. And there's some pollen in here too. Bee bread. So there's probably going to be brood on this next frame over. Yeah, so here's our brood frame and there's our queen. So here's all of our brood. Those empty cells. Looks like she's backfilled. There's larvae in there. And there she is right there. So she's marked blue. She was from this year. And the back side looks the same. So if we combine these, we'll pull some frames out of the top and put down here. Since I found the queen already, I'm going to go ahead and give them just a little bit of smoke. Got us a good brood frame here and here. So we got 2 frames of brood from this new queen. So the only thing that's holding her back is having resources to feed the young for her to keep laying. And this is all pollen here. So I think what I'm going to do is take out these empties and put in, see what we find up top, and bring them down, and let's reduce this to a single deep. And we need to evaluate that other hive to see if we put a frame feeder in or not, which one we give it to. Since there's some honey there, I want to try and save this one and this one because it had some honey on it. And that one can come out. So that gives us 6 positions, actually 4 if we put those 2 back in. So let's see what 4 frames we can get, and we might want to put a frame feeder in here. Okay, we got our top box back here on this bee mate stand. There's a link below to this where you can buy the plans to it. Down in the description you can find that. It's Stonehaven Life is the website. I'm not associated with them. It's not an affiliate link, but you can check that out if you want. I really like them. You know, it takes a little while to put it together, and you can make it with I think a couple of 1x6s, or maybe 3 or 4 1x6s. It's really handy. So here's an empty frame, and it's got some bees on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring it over here and shake these bees into this side. Quite a few bees on here. So the queen's been laying up in the top too. So we've got some opened uncapped larvae here and a little bit of capped. And nice little pattern right there. So I will pull these frames here open and put it between there keep the brood together. See what this next one looks like. I think it's the same. Yeah, it's the same. So she had her little vertical hive going, about 4 frames on each. There's a lot of nectar here. So I'll put this brood towards the brood here and the nectar to the outside. So this hive really wasn't doing too bad. They just had a lot of open space in here. But they'll do better this way. And we may just overwinter them in a single. And once spring comes, it starts warming up, we'll put the some drawn deep frames and maybe even feed them a little bit, and they will take off fast. Okay, I got these 2 with honey. I'll put one on the right, one on the left. There's that. So I've got 2 open positions I can work with. If I decide to put that frame feeder in here. Right, here's the frame feeder. If I want to use this on the weakest hive, so it'll go right in here. So we'll come back to this in a minute. Let's go over to 21, I think it is, and we'll see what's going on there and make a decision. Okay, here's 21 out here in the sun. They've got pretty good activity going on down in the front. That's one thing I do when I'm checking my weight and I'm looking at these hives from a distance. I look at the front to see how many bees are flying in and out, and that's how I suspected I had some absconded hives, because there wasn't anything going on out front except a few bees that fly erratic, look like they're robbing. They're going in and out, taking the resources out of there. Pretty good population up top here. But this hive doesn't weigh anything. It's very light. So we need to see what's going on here. Ooh, that sun is hot. Looks like most of our bees are right in here. Looks like I put some new frames in here maybe. They're marked 2020. So these are frames like they're brand new, wax coated. So that's full of nectar. That's got the brood started already there on the end. Actually, that's not the end. We pulled 2 frames already. Man, there's a loaded up with brood. Same thing there. Nothing in that. Just kind of a practice supersedure cell. There's another one. Don't get any ideas. It's too late for superseding. You better make do with what you got. Be nice to your queen. Okay, maybe we'll see the queen here. No, she's laid this up pretty good. And I see bees down in the bottom too. So I don't think we'll be reducing this one. A lot of nectar there. So I think this hive is light because of these 4 outside frames. They don't have anything on them. They're just no weight to them at all. And these ones here that they were working on prior to me adding those, they're in good shape. They've got nectar, honey here. They just didn't have any nectar flow to draw those out. The bottom is probably pretty empty, I'm guessing though. Yeah, they're doing well. This is all uncapped nectar. And same here. There's a lot of new frames down in the bottom I see as well. So that's another contributor to not much weight on here. Let's take a look in the bottom real quick. Okay, beekeepers, don't put your boxes on the ground. If you don't have a stand, flip your cover upside down and put your box on there right across that, and it works great. If you put them on the ground, if your queen's in there, the bees could walk out onto the grass, and when you pick it up, all that grass sticks to the bottom and it gets in your hive and it's a mess. See how well that works? Keeps it right off of the grass, and any bees that fall off will be in that lid. I'm done harping. So yeah, this looks pretty good down here. Looks like I checkerboarded a few frames. There's one, there's one. I'm not even going to go in here. So this was a combine. See the newspaper? So I combined two hives, and I don't remember which ones they were, but I had a weak hive and one that was queenless probably, and I probably put the queenless one up on the top. So let's put it back together, and I'll put one of those feeders on top of this one. So we'll get us another deep box, and we'll put on top of here and feed them right there. Let's go back over there. We'll get the frame feeder going over there, and then we'll set this one up. Okay, so we're going to put our frame feeder in here. Make sure a queen didn't come up here. Oh, and she did. That is very rare, but it happens. Right there's our queen. So let's scoot these frames over a little bit. Get our frame feeder in here on the edge. Ah, man, that propolis makes it hard to work with. Just going to leave them 8 frames. So we got this 5-gallon bucket here, and I mixed it up in there. So I don't do anything scientific with the 50-50. I put sugar in it a little over half full, and then I'll pour hot water in it and get it filled up to where it's liquid up to about there, and I'll use my drill and a paint mixer and or a mortar mixer, whatever you want to call it, and I'll mix it up and get it liquefied with my drill. But I'm going to shake it up a little bit just in case there's some on the bottom. So I'm just using this as a bucket to kind of grab it, and then we'll go fill that up. And boy, it attracts the bees because it's got a little bit of Pro Health in it. So I need to move fast because this is going to get covered with bees. So this time of year in the dearth, you definitely don't want to be feeding like with jar feeders, because you will start robbing. You want to feed internal to your hive. There we go. Nice and full. Get the lid on here. And this one will be good to go. We probably want to reduce this down a little bit too. So if other bees try to smell that in that hive, it starts robbing. Now they've got a small entrance to defend, and they'll get through it a lot better. Okay, a little slight change in plans. I just remembered I had this feeder here, and it's a hive top feeder, and the bees come up through the middle and walk on this screen, and they get the feed out of both sides of this, and this will hold a lot. I bet that's over 2 gallons worth. So this is a good way to boost a hive real quick. I haven't used it a lot in the past, and when I have, somehow bees are getting in here, and I had some dead bees. I mean, it wasn't like a total disaster, but I wasn't happy with it. So I thought I'll try it again and make sure I get it nice and flush, and there's no way for them to get in here. So I'm thinking with this, you don't want your notched, inner cover on there because the bees will be able to get through that and through the top. So we're just going to use the cover right there on top of this. So this time of year, your bees won't draw undrawn frames. In fact, they'll grab the wax that's on them and start cannibalizing it and using it in other places. But if you give them a good 50-50 sugar water, they will sometimes start drawing comb out again. That looks like a good flush fit there on the bottom. So we'll fill up these top 2 reservoirs. This will use up all my syrup. I'll mix up some more for this evening, and I'll come out and I'll do my other hives. Get out of there. Looks like we got a couple that are in there, but that's life sometimes, I guess. So this is fitting flush, it feels like. Want to put some weight on it. There we go. Put our brick out here so we remember. Down a little bit more, just in case. You can't find quality reducers like these on any of the beekeeping sites, so these are special designed by me. So don't y'all be stealing my patent. Okay, so we left our inner cover off because we don't want this notch to let bees in anywhere up here. Okay, so I thought I'd show you how these bees are attracted to this odor of the Pro Health. It has lemongrass oil in it. It really attracts them. I only put 2 capfuls on one of those pint containers, 2 capfuls in this 5 gallons. Because it's very potent, and this time of year you don't want to use much of it because you can start a robbing frenzy, and that's why you want your feeders inside your hives. Otherwise they're going to get robbed. Don't use entrance feeders with this stuff, especially in July, August, or whenever your dearth is. You don't want to do that at all. So hey, give me a thumbs up on this video if you liked it and thought it was good. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. And we'll catch you on the next beekeeping video. Y'all take care.